Hey YouTube, good morning. Well, a little bit of interesting thing happened this morning. So we got this new version of FSDBeta version 11.11.3 dropped this morning at the normal time of about 1 a.m. when I'm asleep. Woke up to it, and I posted some release notes this morning on Twitter, and go check those out if you haven't. I posted an HDMI extract of my release notes. And as I got ready to come do this drive, I was amazed that there was a park assist section in my release notes. I even posted that on Twitter as a new section. Well, this is a 2020 Model Y with ultrasonic sensors, and I didn't expect to see that in there. So I was going to come out and test the park assist feature that was released in this. And by the time I came out to do this drive, as you can see here, there is no section of park assist in my car anymore. And the label of FSDBeta version 11.11.3 has now been changed to that. And I think it was 11.11.2 was listed in the release notes there. So a little bit of updating in the release notes since I posted that this morning. Kind of interesting. I guess, you know, a software build has some mothership connection to get some release notes. Any case, I have got a route in here to the Memorial Park Drive. Let's see how it goes. It does make sense to me that the release notes are perhaps retrieved from the mothership and not part of the primary build. Okay, this is an unprotected right out onto the street, and it's wide open. Should go no problems and give me a nice boost there, and away we go. So what probably happened is I got the software build, I immediately went out to record the release notes, and perhaps the configuration files hadn't exchanged back with the mothership to perhaps synchronize a car-specific release notes for cars with ultrasonic sensors and not. So I probably got a... I'm just speculating now. I have no good explanation for why I had park assist in my release notes and the version number was wrong initially. I'm just guessing there's some sort of communication that goes back. But that also goes into the conversation of if they can change the release notes text just a little bit, they can probably change some other levers too within the software. Probably not weights, because weights are part of the full training set, but there might be some selectors or options that we've seen years ago that they can tweak on and off with the way the car behaves. As part of this route, and this was thanks to some recommendations of many of you in the comment section, on this Memorial Park Drive, we're going to basically do the same route, but at the end of the route, instead of doing that U-turn I do and just return back, I've put the destination inside of a grocery store parking lot, because I do think that park assist and some features inside of parking lots will become more and more important. So hopefully we can put this to bed, that my ultrasonic sensor equipped car, very aggressive slowdown there for that flashing yellow. I don't remember that on dot 2. Should be turning right here, and it is. So I'll just maybe park the car with park assist and then continue the second leg after that. I really wish blinkers would come on a little bit sooner here. All right, so this is a decent right on red scenario. It's got a creep limit put way out there in a weird spot, but it's definitely the limit. That's way out there. This traffic from the left now has the right of way. It's really being impatient and kind of start stopping. And now it's wide open. Should just roll for this without stopping again, and it did. So that tells me what it was doing each time it crept forward was it was looking for these cars coming from the left to take their right of way. All right, slowing down for this car, and then nice boost there after he jumped into the parking lot. That felt a little bit more than I remember. So I'm going to go ahead and edit the trip now to delete that, and that looks good. Yeah, so that boost after he turned into the parking lot felt a little bit more aggressive. I'm not sure what that looked like on the CAN bus data with the acceleration as compared to normal. All right, so this should just be a Okay, unprotected, left turn, no green arrow. See how tight it keeps it with that car there? Really tight that time. Wow, that was as tight as it's ever done that, especially with that car that was right there. Was the perfect opportunity for it to take it a little bit wider, but it kept it nice and tight. That was a little bit of a change for sure. And oh, look at this. My route has updated, but the car has not. So I'm pressing the accelerator. I don't know what's going on here. I changed the route. Oh, I didn't hit done. My mistake. The car knew better. So I had deleted the point in the navigation route, and you guys watching the video probably watched me do that. I didn't hit done. Even though the stop was removed on the map, it was stopping. All right, so coming up on this traffic circle section here, the circles are on the map data, but the car still very erratically has been behaving like like the stop signs are there. It's got stop mark there, and it should be yielding. See these stop lines? Nobody within anywhere around me. It's completely stopping there, crawling around. It's got another stop mapped on the data. It should just go though, and then it took it away. So, and creeping forward for visibility. So that is an unnatural behavior at this specific traffic circle. Many of you have speculated that it has to do with map data. I agree with it. It seems to be visually, okay, full stop there. That was an aggressive stop, unnecessary. Yeah. Going through the school zone here, you see it's not in effect right now, but this is a school zone section that will be adjusted by the flashing light. Okay, so I just keep checking the route that it's chosen. This is good. Yeah, I don't know what the solution is to those traffic circles. It's got it mapped fine, but it's just leaning, I think, a little bit too much on the map data. Dirty Tesla is your best bet for testing traffic circles. He's got a bunch of them up where he lives. I just don't have that many other than that little one there. All right, we got a parked truck up here on the right that's using a little bit more of the road. See how it's got the path just kind of going a little bit wide around them? That's the kind of behavior I love to see. Flashing yellows, still showing a little bit of red on the display. They're definitely highlighting blue for controlling. Just a little bit of color inference there. That one didn't show any red. That was good. All right, look at the path it's got here. So it acted like it was gonna go a little bit to the right. I'm hogging up the whole lane. There's a car behind me that wants to scoot up a little bit, and now I got my green. So it was no big. I thought it was gonna go over to the right side of that lane for the right turn, but it changed its mind and kind of went right to the middle there. Okay, coming up on a four-way stop with a left-hand turn. Okay, see how it stopped for that bicycler? Okay, and now I'm having to nudge it there. So that was a very good sign, but it was a little inhuman. Meaning like, now I'm not gonna complain, and especially for you bikers out there, it saw him, it reacted, it gave the chime, it stopped immediately, and that's the behavior you want. The weird thing that happened was after he acknowledged me and said, please go ahead, I had to tap the accelerator. Stopping unnecessarily for a location with no stop sign here, another bad map data section. And if you see, it's already adjusted the speed to 15 miles an hour here, which is in a 30. Incorrect speed and stop sign location. So I just disengaged that to get a little bit of data in there rather than drilling on at 15 miles an hour. Take advantage of the voice notes. Maybe they can take a look at that. So that biker interaction is really, really a good one. It gives me the confidence that it saw the biker, it saw the VRU trajectory, and it stopped the car. It did give the chime that it was aggressively emergency stopping. Once the biker stopped, and he basically wasn't going to go, I had to tap the accelerator to nudge the car. If we'd just sat there and waited and done a little bit of a standoff, I have no doubt the car would have eventually gone, because the trajectory of that VRU would have been 0 and it would have just proceeded. All the way down to 25 miles an hour there at the bottom of that hill. That was a little unusual and in a weird spot. I'm not sure what that was about. Maybe there's something in the video you guys can see. Yeah, did this one just fine. Now last week, when we did this drive, it chose this route here to the right, and is when it turned right from the left lane. It didn't reproduce that scenario this morning, so we didn't get to test that. Yep, this is doing good. So I think this one's probably going to be able to go wide. I'm not exactly sure what the team saw on version 11.3.2 that kept them from releasing it wide. It might have been some of those navigation issues that it was having with lane changes. They just don't share that kind of information, but obviously they saw something in the data that they thought they needed to fix. Okay, so coming up here is where my route changed a little bit for those of you that have been watching this for a long time. I've got a left turn into a parking lot. Let's see how it does this here. It's got a little bit of a suicide lane. Nice. Smooth, rolled it. Let's see where it goes in the parking lot, because I've got the destination in the back. See how it navigates this lot here. Went over that speed bump just fine. A little bit of a, okay. It's going to take this second turn here. So far, so good. And I've just got the pin in the back of this parking lot. It's actually working better than I thought it would for the location. I'm going to just let it keep going here. Let's see if auto navigation complete. Good. Okay. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is disengage, but let's go ahead and see if we can get a park assist here. Get one of the P's to show up. No P's yet. No, I'm going to put it in park. I'm going to put it in reverse. I'm going to try to cheat it to give me a P here. I'm not seeing any P's. All right, I'm going to go ahead and try to force it somehow and see if it'll come up with a P for park. It should definitely be able to do one of these without a doubt. Oh, there's a P. Okay, tapping the P, shifting into reverse, hitting start. Okay, so you can see very clearly on my car, I have ultrasonic sensors. I do not have that new park assist section that I posted on Twitter this morning. This is the old school park assist. Looks like it's going to do a 3-point turn. It's kind of going pretty slow. It always has been slow. But it's been precise. See if we get an ultrasonic sensor indication on that car. We didn't. Not even, I mean, yeah. It's gonna go all the way back to the bumper. Okay, so that showed, oh, it's doing it. I thought it was rolling forward. I thought it was done. It's just fine tuning it, isn't it? Wants to be a little bit more accurate. Auto park complete. Okay, so that is the proof in the pudding that and if you did see there at the end, I did have a little bit of an ultrasonic sensor indication there. And I put in our return route, see if it'll get us out of the parking lot. It should do that no problem. And here we go. No, not giving it to us yet. I bet when I pull out here to this stop sign, it'll do it just fine. It wants to park again, and there's FSC available. See which way it's going to pull us out of here. So it needs to take a left. A little bit tricky here. So it's got a stop sign for this entrance. Look where it put the creep limit. That's good. That's about where it needs to go. Very cautiously going through the parking lot. Oh, shouldn't go right. Oh, well, did it re-navigate? Oh. Yeah, it was aggressively going out into the road here. So I don't know what was going on there, why it changed to the right, even though it was mapped to the left. More importantly, I don't know why it was getting ready to jump out into the road when a car was coming. So I'm going to go ahead and force it to the right. It's wanting to go to the left here from this location now too. Well, parking lots are going to be a new addition to this route just because of the dynamics and how things change. I'm looking forward to some more improvements there, maybe with Summon and things like that in the future. I'm not going to test Summon probably on this drive. That'll be its own test when we get some release notes that say it's changed. Right on red's legal here. Ah, wow. There's definitely a boost change in this build. That acceleration jerk is feeling a lot better jumping out into traffic. So they've improved that or changed it, and it feels like an improvement to me. I'm not sure if everyone will think that's an improvement, but it feels good. So at this intersection up here, part of me says I need to go ahead and test that exact same turn that it did last week, where it turned right from the left lane, just for the data. I mean, that may have been one of the major reasons that they did not release this, was some of those turns. So I'm probably gonna, go through these couple intersections, reset the route, do that one turn, and then finish up. Hopefully it won't make the video too long, and those of you that enjoy watching this content probably are wondering why I didn't do that turn anyway. Very aggressive slowdown there for something that I didn't see again. So it went from 30 to 23 with cars behind me. Okay, so this is the intersection I'm going to want to come back and do. So I'm going to do a little bit of a loop here. All right, there's the disengagement, and coming left here. And I'm putting in the exact same destination we just had, but we're going to start from this location, which is going to put it on that turn that last week it did not do right. All right, you can see the turn is now mapped. The interesting thing about this turn, and I've talked about it every time I do it, just so everyone's aware, is it's got to get in this left turn lane, and then it's joining two lanes and it's got to get over to the right to turn. And if it doesn't get over quickly, someone behind me might get over quickly, and then I get boxed out. And last week, it did the right turn with no traffic from the left lane, which I know is definitely one of the issues that they're trying to get the turns and the turn lanes down right. Okay, so we've got our green light coming. Left arrow. Let's see what the mapped path is. It's got to go around this car, so there's a little bit of traffic. Now it needs to immediately get in the right lane. It's mapped it, and it's indecisive again, but it did it. It got over, and then now it's stopping. So last week, it continued the turn from that left lane, which was not correct. So good job, Tesla. You got that one figured out. I'm not sure what that bug was. Right turn here with that was good. Okay, so that put that to rest, just so we had some data on that for both the viewers and the Tesla team. So I'm going to go ahead and reset our route. Creating the scenarios. Look at this stop sign here. Interesting. It's got it mapped here on the screen, but if that isn't a stop sign, that I don't know how, I guess it's just the shape and the color. The map data is definitely showing it, but this is just another good example of what the world has to offer. Interesting. That one needs a scrub. All right, jumped out of that parking lot just fine, even with that obscured stop sign, and the route's back in there. I hope you guys stick with me. That adding that extra turn will probably add about 5 minutes to this video, but I think it was important to get that knocked out just to see how it handled it. All right, parked cars on the side of the road, and it's honoring the yellow line very, very closely, possibly even putting its wheels on the line just a little bit, which is fine. That's the way I would drive, especially with no oncoming cars here. The reason it's important to get over is because somebody could be getting out of any of those cars at any instant, right? So the buffer that the car gives those parked cars is important, just for safety reasons, especially when there's no oncoming traffic. Another parked car with a nice path around it with an opposing car coming at the exact same time. So that way you got to see how it was encroaching on the yellow line with an opposing car. Kind of the same thing there. A little bit different. Flashing yellow again. A little bit of red on that first blink. Yeah, a little bit of red. Behaves just fine, just doesn't visualize it correctly. Interesting, see that VRU? It stopped for him, slowed down, realized he stopped, and then it proceeded. And the blue was the indication. So that was a very good example of the trajectory of VRUs and how it's behaving around them. Once it realized he stopped, he went from dark blue to light blue, and then it proceeded. That situation with the bicycler earlier was a little bit different in that the trajectories were a little bit, I guess, more dangerous, all the way to the point of getting the chime that it was emergency braking. All right, two-way stop sign here. Having to navigate around these parked cars, getting up here to the stop line. Should do a creep limit on this one. There it is. It's way out there. Way out there, isn't it? Gosh. Just fine. In a light traffic, it's going to do fine on these. I'm always interested to see where they put those creep limits and how they're calculating them and moving them around. That's just kind of the math that's going on under the hood that we get to watch while we drive. All right, nothing to talk about there. So VRU interactions have happened a couple times today, and I have to say I've been very, very impressed with them. So if the engineering team is watching this, whatever you've done with that, it felt really, really good. Ooh, that was a really good one. My yield, that car committed, slowdown was just right, and that car had a flashing red. I had the flashing yellow, but he had enough room to go. Some VRUs over here right on the edge, but they're not blue, and it just kind of slowed down a little bit, didn't do anything there. The interactions feel good so far. The one thing I was going to mention before that last interaction came up, with that bicycler, it's the human standoff at the end of right away. The only thing I can think for the car to do is to wait him out, and then for the human to realize that it's a robot car. Obviously, when there's a driver sitting here, they don't know that. And for the trajectory of that VRU to stay static long enough for the car's logic to think, okay, I can proceed now. But while that VRU is dark blue, I don't see the car having any option of proceeding, even if a person is waving them on or not. So just some things to think about, you know, in the future of autonomous cars, how the humans in the other vehicles or being pedestrians will interact with them. Okay, coming up on this same traffic circle area here again, there's some weird map data that the car thinks there's a turn lane that's not there anymore, and it stops in a weird spot. But if you see on this yield, it just proceeded right through. So it had to stop for a second, but then it proceeded right through. So that one it did perfectly. But right here, it usually gets confused. See that stop line that's got programmed there? There's no stop. So now it's confused, and I have to tap it because there's a car right behind me. So that is, yeah, so there's some weirdness going on at that intersection. Guys, if you can take a look at it, it would be helpful, because it's probably a common situation around the world where roads get updated and the map data hasn't changed, and how the car prioritizes vision. So the car has no longer chosen repeatedly to do the unprotected left turn that it used to do one block over. It now very reliably is picking this intersection with a stoplight, and it's a much smarter decision for the planner to make, so those planning improvements definitely have helped. And the blinker is on there. While we're sitting here, you get a good view of this map data. Do you see how the railroad crossing is actually mapped on the paint here? I don't know if those are assets inside of OpenStreetMaps that knows it, or if it's just looking at the ground and painting that railroad asset there. The irony is, the car never behaves correctly around railroad tracks. It doesn't slow down for them. It doesn't seem to recognize that stopping on the tracks is not appropriate, but it at least is mapping the asset that it knows there's a railroad track there. So maybe that's just future behavior. All right. So pretty straightforward the rest of the way here. Just some intersections. I got another flashing yellow up there. I didn't see anything that scared me today that would prevent this from going wider. So I feels like a .3 release ought to go wide pretty quickly. I don't know how much data they need to roll out. I did double check that turn scenario and it jumped into the right lane today. Obviously I only did it once, and to get good data sometimes you need to do these things multiple times, but speed felt good. The acceleration coming out into the lanes definitely felt a little bit more aggressive, which I've been asking for. So I think that was good. The biker interaction and the pedestrian interactions today happened a little bit more often than I normally got to record, but I think all of them were appropriate and safe. So this feels like a good build. So in this next flashing yellow, we've got a combination of orange cones that are set up blocking a turn lane and a flashing yellow. And let's see how it maps it. It's definitely slowing down to 40, slowing 35, 33, 30. Okay, I'm tapping the accelerator now. Cars are coming up on me very quickly. So I'm not exactly sure why it was acting like it was going to slow all the way down to a stop for that flashing yellow, especially on a road with this speed. Maybe it was the cones that time that gave it a little bit of confusion. That's all I can think of. I wasn't looking at the screen 100% of the time. I wonder if it was showing a stop line there or if it was just slowing down for caution. It was still too slow, so it wasn't correct. Got a bicycler on the highway over here, which is their right. See how it way over there to the right side. Didn't mark them as blue or anything because we're 2 lanes over, but those are scenarios that I know cyclists are always very, very attentive to how the car behaves around cyclists and giving them enough room. Nothing notable there, just another intersection. Ooh, very aggressive stop there. So that car jumping out of the lane freaked it out for a little bit. It tapped the brakes pretty hard, but then very quickly released the brakes. I didn't sense that it needed to do that. So that was an interaction with that car getting out of the primary lane of traffic, and it somehow recalculated that he might be re-entering. Okay, looks like we're going to end up with a unprotected forward-facing left turn here with this traffic here. That traffic should have the green light and should be proceeding, so it looks like it's gonna go into the intersection, which is okay. Ooh, boy, it uncomfortably kind of started turning its wheel there. Now there's a gap right here, and if it gives me that normal boost it's been doing today, it's gonna be completely safe. So that was fine. It did it just fine. The weird thing about going into the intersection is I haven't seen the behavior yet where if the light turns red, it proceeds. Once you get in the intersection, you need to know that you need to proceed, but that one was just fine. So there you go, guys. 11.3.3 Memorial Park Drive with a little bit of parking lot action in the middle. Had a lot to see today. Nothing unsafe that I saw. So to me, this build feels solid. I have a hunch that this one will be the one that goes wide. As very often, sometimes the .3 release is what it takes. Let me know what you know. Let me know what you think in the comments below. For those of you still here at the end of 40 minutes, have a great day.